Let's talk about reptiles. That would include snakes, lizards, turtles, and crocodiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded animals. They must get their body heat from the air around them. They live on land and in water, but still breathe by lungs. They have thick, dry, scaly skin. They lay their eggs on land, and the young hatch looking very much like the adult. Reptiles use sometimes specialized sense organs to find their prey. The main groups of reptiles are the snakes, the lizards, the turtles, and the crocodilians. Let's start with the lizards. Lizards are very widespread. Most lizards have 4 legs, strong legs, and they lift their bodies very off the ground. Some are called legged snakes. Lizards are more variety of food gathering devices. They can use venom, camouflage, flexible breathing, and the ability to sacrifice and grow their limbs, such as their tail. The majority of lizard species food items are land invertebrates like insects. The western green lizard here is eating a grasshopper. The chameleon, known for being able to change its colors because of special skin cells that allow it to do that. The Mexican beaded lizard. Some, like the North Carolina glass lizard, don't have legs and instead look like snakes, but really are lizards. We have the iguana, which grows to be rather large. We have the tree animals, or the green animals in this case, that are quite small, sometimes kept as pets. The green or eastern fence lizard, which we find in most desert areas. And then we have this little tiny frilled lizard that can make itself look very big because of expanding its throat muscles. The biggest of all is the Komodo Dragon, found mostly in Australia. Then we have some interesting ones like the fan-throated lizard from India. The snakes. Snakes are legless reptiles. They range in size from the Barbados thread snake, which is like a thread, to the rather large boa constrictors and pythons. About 70% lay eggs, while the rest bear their young alive. There are lots and lots of different snakes, quite a variety of different kinds. Many venomous, many not. Of the venomous snakes, we find one of the most venomous of all is the bleachers, sea snake. The cottonmouth moccasin, found in many of our southern states, only occasionally in Nebraska along the Platte River. The king cobra, which grows naturally in India. The eastern brown snake, found mostly in Europe. The banded kite, found mostly in India. And the black mamba, most prevalent in in Africa. There are non-venomous snakes, such as the garter snake, which many of you may have handled. They have skin that is dry, but it feels slimy at times. The bull snake, which sometimes is confused with the rattlesnake. The bull snake is less likely to bite, but can. The green tree boa, which is a constrictor, that is, it squeezes its prey to death, but is not as large as the boas and others. The northern water snake. The blue racer. And the boa constrictors. These are non-venomous, but doesn't mean they're not dangerous, because a boa constrictor can really grab a hold of you and squeeze you, but they're still used as pets. They say if you keep them fed, they're not dangerous. The turtles and tortoises. Turtles are reptiles, of course they are, characterized by the spatial bony or cartilaginous skeleton or shell that completes around the body and the ribs, and it acts like a shield. They are cold-blooded, as the rest of the reptiles are, and so they must lay in the sun to get their bodies warmed up. Because of the high metabolic rate of the leatherback turtles, their body temperature is not necessarily as bad as the others, and it gets its temperature from the water. This is a green sea turtle, which spends most of its life in the water and comes on land only to lay eggs. The turtle's diet is basically sea plants. Those that live on land eat snails, insects, worms, and other small invertebrates. This is a red-eared turtle, which is capable of being in water or on land. And this is a true African tortoise. The African tortoise gets rather large. This is what the internal anatomy of the turtle looks like. The most important thing is that the shell basically takes the place of the ribs, hooks directly to them. It has no teeth, but has a mouth part that can actually cut things because it's really sharp. Some interesting turtles. Here's a long-necked turtle. This is a huge tortoise found in the Galapagos Islands. Some, they say, grow to 800 years old. Another of the large snapping turtles. This is a turtle that is laying her eggs in a dugout in the sand. She will return to the ocean, and the eggs will hatch out on their own after she covers them up. This shows one of the turtles hatching from the egg. And then we see a bunch of them. She lays a massive amount of eggs, and they must crawl their way back to the ocean. And this is where a lot of the birds feed on the small turtles. And so a lot of them don't come back. The next group is the crocodiles and alligators. The crocodile, seen here as a head and then a full body, and the alligator, head and full body. Making a comparison, we notice that the crocodiles have a longer, thinner snout with the teeth showing. The alligators have a narrower, shorter, fatter, and then less of the teeth will show. Alligators and crocodiles are both very powerful tails. They use them in defense and for swimming. But when you see them, most of the time you see nothing but their eyes and their nostrils, so that they stick above the water. They can see their prey and they can breathe through their nose. Alligators have more of a U-shaped or snout that is rounded, and the crocodiles have a larger, longer extended one. Here we see an alligator catching a fish. Alligators can live up to 50 years in the wild, but about 70 in captivity. More comparison of the V-shaped snout of the crocodile and the U-shaped snout of the alligator. Crocodiles eat meat, and they'll eat birds if they can catch them, and occasionally you'll find some people living in the area of the crocodiles will have their dogs eaten by alligators. They lay eggs, and they do not take care of the eggs. They simply lay them, and then they hatch out. It takes about 55 to 110 days for them to grow from the egg hatching alligator to a size that's capable of being 17, 18, 20 inches. Here's a mother. She's just laid her eggs, and then she will cover up them and hatch on their own. This is a cousin of the alligator and crocodile called the Cayman. It's a little smaller, only gets about 8 or 10 feet long. Notice how it has a long, skinny nose, very similar to the alligator. These are found mostly in Asia. Au revoir, à plus tard. Goodbye. See you later.